Hello, everybody. Um, I'm glad to see everyone here tonight. This is a fun end to the Monday. I don't know if anyone had off today. I had off today. I did nothing. My wife and I watched The Pit. She's 8 months pregnant. It was emotional. But going forwards, everything here is going to be fun. The only emotion is going to be happy and good vibes. Was I still am technically because he's not on the stream yet, but I was looking very much forward to this episode. I reached out and got his debut book sent to me and read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. And especially with as things are going forwards a little bit, where like a little break is on the horizon, I was very glad to be able to finish it and have him on before there are any hiatuses or anything like that. So I was very happy that his schedule worked out because I enjoyed this very much, and we are going to get talking about it right now. Welcome to the stage, Mr. TJ Cooper.
Hey guys.
How are you doing tonight, sir? Well, it's evening by you. I wouldn't even say night, right? You're Texas.
Oh no, it's night. Yeah, it's
Night.
it's about 8 o'clock right now. So yeah, I'm only an hour behind you. So yeah.
Doesn't that feel weird? It feels like you should be further behind us.
I know. I thought I checked it, and for some reason I was thinking I was 2 hours behind you. So I was getting ready around 7 o'clock, and then I looked at my phone to double check. I'm like, let me double check. And then I looked on YouTube. I was just watching some silly videos by Asked Across or something like that, and I put the notification on for this video, and it said 8 o'clock. Because my YouTube app is to my time, so I double checked the clock. I'm like, oh, I had my time zones all mixed up. So
I would have been way off.
I think Texas is like 2 or 3 time zones, I think. So
yeah, you guys are gigantic.
Thinking big state. Yeah.
You're in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So
were you rooting Texans this weekend? Are you a football guy, or are you just
no? I fell off the football train. I still say I'm a baseball fan, but man, I haven't. The Rangers kind of really disappointed this past year, so that was very disappointing. I still haven't been to the new Globe Life Stadium yet, the new indoor stadium that they have compared to the other ballpark that they had at Arlington. I think I'm still just dreading on going because I loved going to the original ballpark at Arlington. That was such a beautiful stadium. I know it was outdoors, and I know in the summer it gets hot, but I mean, like, that's the point of baseball, man. You just go there. It had a really good, just kind of Americana baseball feel to it. So I really, really miss that stadium, and now it just feels like, I don't know. So I don't know. My parents have been to it. I know a couple friends who have been to Globe Life. So they say it's all good, but I'm still kind of on the fence about it. So
yeah, some of the old loyalty is lingering.
Yeah. So now, as far as sports goes, I'm mainly a college football fan as far as football is concerned. Gig and Maggie's, even though oh god, the only two games I watched this year are the two games that they lose, and just gosh. That's why I don't watch them.
Stop.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, that's why I don't watch them, just because I guess I'm the bad luck charm. If I watch a game, they lose. So
that's the one thing that makes me feel good. Because whether I watch the Jets or not, they lose. So I don't feel hot committed to worrying about whether it's like me being a jinx as much as it's their existence as a franchise.
Yeah,
I saw the Mavericks beat the Knicks today, so that's a good feeling for you.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good feeling. I used to be more into basketball, kind of back in the day, when Dirk was still there. Back when Dirk was still there, he hadn't been there for many years though. And then, of course, the time that they won the world championship, even though it's technically a national championship. So that was a really fun time watching all those playoff games. So against when what were they calling them? The big three. It was Bosch,
LeBron, and
Dwayne Wade and LeBron. Yeah. and that was like a big thing because it was their first year together with the Heat, and
Hmm.
Mavs just came over and crushed them. It's like,
Hmm.
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
It was pretty sweet. It was
yeah,
pretty
that's
sweet.
awesome.
So
It was always nice to
yeah,
watch an evil empire like that go down, where it's like you're only laughing
yeah.
because of money. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. I remember watching it was the post game interviews, and they were showing LeBron, and he's like, regardless of what people say, they got to wake up with their problems, and I don't. So I'm like, what a douchebag thing to say.
It is. It's.
He's like, hey, I'm rich, by the way.
I never heard that. It almost makes me like him more on some sick level because it's
Yeah.
just like, all right, you're playing up to the villain and you're perfectly hateable.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ugh.
No, I can't stand people that compare him to Michael Jordan, and it's like, oh, he finally got up to Michael Jordan's point record or something like that. I'm like, but he's been in the NBA for 2 or 3 times as long as Michael Jordan was, or
Mhm,
something like that. So MJ was able to accomplish that in that short amount of time, and LeBron is finally doing it. So
mhm. It's like
yeah,
longevity is nice, but also, it kind of shows how
it
prolific
is,
they were.
yeah. I won't deny he is a really great basketball player, and he's way better than me. I mean, I can't do that, but I will say, like, when people compare him to like Michael Jordan, I'm like, it's not even close. It's
Mhm,
not even the same caliber. I'm sorry, like not even Magic Johnson. I'd say not even close to that as well. So
mhm.
yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So I guess that's where most of my basketball knowledge is in the '90s.
Yeah, same. I have a Dennis
Mhm.
Rodman jersey, and that's about it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Did you see the Last Dance? That
Amazing.
Netflix? Yeah, dude, that was really really cool.
Mhm,
That was really cool watching that. I
mhm.
love the memes that came out of it too. That's just
Oh,
Michael Jordan
and
just
I
sitting
took
there,
that
and I
personal.
took that personally.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was a
Hmm.
great one.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick shows back up in a little bit because I want to talk to you about some of those. But to start
Oh
off,
yeah.
I'm just gonna pop the cover up here because this is. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. The cover of your book, A Shadow's Vendetta. First off, one of the sickest covers to the point where my daughter, I think she was like 2 at the time when it came in the mail, grabbed it and thought it was for her and just walked away
Oh.
with it, sat down and like popped open the book. And the cover is gorgeous. Can you give some detail on, but before I get into the actual pages, who did your cover? And just give a little shout out there because this is, and the work on the inside as well. I don't have pictures of that, but this
Oh,
is
I can grab
fantastic.
it.
I have
I'll
it
grab
over
it. I'll
here. I
show them
hope
off here in a
everyone can
second.
see it.
Oh, there you go. So the cover artist and the interior artist as well was done by an artist called Nino Is. He's Oh my gosh, he's insanely talented, and he was really the first person that I talked to as far as the collaborative process went towards getting this whole thing done. Um, the cover art was really the first thing. I hadn't even finished writing the book yet, and he came back to me with this cover art, and it just looked absolutely amazing. And I was uh, very pleased with it. And I had wanted to do interior artwork as well.
Mhm.
Um, we got to doing that a little bit later on because I really one of my here I could grab it too if I don't knock over my camera. um, One of my favorite books really is also The Children of Hurin by
Mhm.
J.R.R. Tolkien, finished by Christopher Tolkien. But this just has a brilliant cover to it, and it also just has, oh, come on, just incredible artwork in it as well.
Mhm.
And I got this when I was, oh gosh, maybe 10 years old or
Oh
something like
wow.
that. So just an absolutely beautiful book. And I was really inspired by that just as a product,
Mhm.
and really wanted to give readers kind of just a, you know, hey, uh, this isn't really a premium priced uh, product while just being normal, not having to do like a special edition or something like that, like a
Mhm.
broken binding special edition or anything. So just wanting to give them some artwork. It is a little bit for those who want to write and do interior artwork. It is a little bit more expensive. Um, but to me, it was well worth it just
Mhm.
because I really loved seeing. Nino's interpretation of the world, and it really helped me um, to also get inspired by some of the stuff that he would do, and even change a couple things up. Like it was his actually, it was actually his suggestion to put the mask
Oh
over
wow.
on the face, because he was like, I'm not really that great at doing faces.
Mm.
So he put the mask over him. So, but we kind of ran with that. I'm like, that's actually a really cool idea. I love that. So, um, yeah, that's how that came to be, and just the whole collaborative process of it was really quite amazing. And he's actually done. You've probably seen this book as well. Um, I have my bookshelf literally like right here. So the 11th Cycle by Kian and
Yeah.
Harding. So this is also him as well.
Oh
Um,
wow, I did not know that.
yeah, that's him. And then he's been doing a lot of artwork for Magic the Gathering
Very
lately.
cool.
So he's been doing that for a few years, and just really incredible. He's really great at drawing monsters.
Mm.
So if you have picked up some Magic cards, it's most likely that are like monster. I don't play Magic, so I don't know. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, so I just call them monster cards regardless. So um, but yeah, if you pick up any like monster type cards, they're most likely drawn by Nino. So he's an incredible artist. Yeah, love what he
Very
does.
cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
because it came out great, and especially now that you mentioned the mask, because I'm looking to the side, not ignoring at you, but the
Oh, you're
mask,
good.
it like really, I don't want to say ties it all together, but it makes it so much more ominous and
Hmm.
foreboding that it really kind of
Hmm.
ties the image together. Which I'm going to pivot into your inspirations now for book one, and I know that one of the biggest ones, which kind of goes to mask themed, not themed, but influenced,
Hmm.
uh, was Batman. Was that
Yeah.
can you go a little bit further into that? Because when I was reading it and I made it to the end and reading, the about everything towards the end, I saw Batman there and I was like, oh shit. Like, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm a massive Batman fan. If you I have So I have a bookshelf over here, and I have a stack of books and comics just over on my right side that I don't have any space for. Most of them are like DC, like Batman, Nightwing, Justice League, stuff like that. Actually, I can move this stack over, and I actually got issue 1 of Matt Fraction's run, the current run on Batman right now. So, uh, yeah, it was really that first chapter that the character Talik, who's also known as the Shadow, who kind of has that shadowy, that kind of sort of dark vigilante persona that he kind of has. Um, Really, the biggest inspiration was just that first chapter, and it was kind of borrowing a little bit from the Batman movie, the one with Robert Pattinson that Matt
Oh
Reeves
yeah.
directed. Kind of Batman's introduction into that, where the thugs, they don't see him yet, but they can hear his footsteps,
Hmm.
and it's just he just slowly comes out of the shadows. And so I was thinking that would be really fun to write a scene like that, where they just you don't see anything yet, but then all of a sudden you hear him, and it's like, oh, he's meant to be heard. He's
Yeah.
doing this on purpose. Um, it was a lot of doing it, really just kind of putting that kind of how Batman puts the fear into criminals, and just kind of how he doesn't necessarily toy with his victims, even though he kind of does sometimes, let's be honest. um, but just kind of that big inspiration into it, and kind of how he fights, and of course the cape that he has, just kind of the silhouette and image that Batman has, like whenever he's jumping across rooftops or something like that.
Hmm.
um, Kind of his tactical mindset as well. um, and yeah, that was kind of the big inspiration as far as Batman is concerned, and just comics in general. I've I think I wrote it in the about the author. I'm not entirely too sure, but I've read way more comics than I've read books. So if I could write a comic book or draw, I totally would, but I can't. So, but yeah, no, I'm a big comic book nerd, and Batman is certainly one of my favorites, and just a really big inspiration, not only to me creatively, but just me as being a fan of anything really. So, of course, the Dark Knight movies were very impressionable. Those were coming out when I was in middle school. So, of course, everybody wanted to go see Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. So that was pretty awesome getting to see those coming out. And anything Batman related, I'll go watch it, good or bad. I'll watch it. So
at this point, it's like, yeah, you're pot invested. Like, yeah, sure,
yeah,
check it out. Like, even Ben
yeah,
Affleck's Batman wasn't terrible. It was
I,
okay.
yeah,
Batman vs Superman sucked, but as him as Batman,
yeah, yeah. I I think Ben Affleck's Batman was really underrated, in my
Mhm,
opinion. I wasn't a big fan of him killing.
mhm.
Um, that like I remember seeing that in the theater and just my whole body just like tensed up and cringed once he like shot those people in the back of the car and was like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not a big fan of that. Um, but that warehouse fight scene was really cool.
sick.
I think like just his physical presence as Batman was really
Yeah.
fun. And I think as far as like acting is concerned or just like knowing your role, Ben
Mhm,
Affleck, I think, really understood the assignment as far as what Zack Snyder wanted from that version of Batman. Not only in Batman v Superman, but in his Justice League as well.
mhm,
I think just he was a really really good. I think he was a good fit for that. It's a shame that that whole thing didn't really take off. I think as well as it should have.
mhm.
Um, I think not as well as it should have. I was really excited for it all coming out, but yeah, no, it's still. I think Robert Pattinson's also a really fun Batman. I know some people call him, what is it like emo Batman or
Emo
something? I'm
Batman,
like,
yeah.
but he's in the suit like 80% of the movie, man. It's awesome.
I love
Like
it.
it's
I thought that
called
was
the
amazing.
Batman, and he's Batman.
Mhm,
He's not Bruce Wayne throughout it. Um, Even though there is that dichotomy, there is Bruce Wayne. Is he Bruce Wayne? Is that who he is, or is he Batman? Is that
mhm,
his actual persona, or is he somewhere in the middle or something like that?
mhm.
So, and I think they kind of understood a little bit of that. They explored a little bit of that with the Batman movie. So I got on a tangent with Batman. I'm really sorry. So
No, don't worry.
yeah, obviously I'm a pretty big fan of it, but no, I'm excited about part two. Did you see the casting for the Batman part
I
two?
started to see it come out. I saw Sebastian Stan is going to be in it, and I think a couple, like one or two other people they just announced.
Yeah, so Sebastian Stan is going to be playing Harvey Dent
Mm,
in it,
right? Yeah,
and Scarlett Johansson is going to be playing Gilda Dent in it as well. Have you read the Long Halloween?
I have not.
Okay, I won't spoil it. But like that casting announcement, I was like, oh, I kind of see what they might be doing.
Okay,
Um,
I have to check. Both of my
so
brothers are going to be screaming at me to read this now. They're much bigger comic book and graphic novel fans than I am, so I'm
oh
sure I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah,
get a
yeah.
text as
Oh,
soon as we're done, where one of them's going to be like, "Dude, I'll give it to you."
oh, you gotta read it, man. Long Halloween, and then
Mhm,
it's got its sequel, Dark Victory, which I think is my opinion. I think it's just as good. I know
mhm,
some people would definitely disagree with that, but I hold Dark Victory right up there with Long Halloween. I think it's incredible. Yeah, it's one of the like quintessential Batman stories that you kind of have to read. And they did in the Batman, the first one. That they just did. There were some small inspirations from the Long Halloween, as far as like the stuff with like Carmine Falcone
mhm,
um, and Thomas Wayne, like patching him up, like after when he was talking about, hey, this, I saw this kid on the stairs when my guys brought me over to his dad's house and they patched me up,
mhm,
something like that. So there's little snippets of it, but definitely with the casting announcement, I'm like,
mhm.
I can see where they might be going. I'm interested and skeptical at the same time. So I bet it'll be a fun time regardless. So
Yeah, I hope so. That's
yeah,
really how everyone should be with casting at this point. Because even when you think it's amazing, it's like got to check the finished product first, which
yeah, yeah,
is kind of
yeah,
how it goes at this point. But
yeah. Well,
one of the
Robert
other things,
Pattinson got a lot of backlash initially for being cast because everybody saw him as the Twilight guy.
yeah,
But
same
I'm
with
like,
Heath
actually,
Ledger.
he's a yeah, yeah, exactly. Like everybody, I didn't know that because I was too young to pay attention to that.
Yeah,
Um, but I remember going to see The Dark Knight, and I I guess it was just the makeup. It was even the voice too, which was just it was so creepy that he did. It doesn't sound like Heath Ledger at all.
Hmm.
Even his normal American voice or in other voices that he does,
Hmm.
it doesn't. It's not him. You know what I mean? Like it does. You don't think that's Heath Ledger at all. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I remember
hey
he got
Eddie.
cast. Hi, Eddie. I remember when he got cast, it was like the dude from 10 Things I Hate About You, which is, by the way, awesome. But it was like,
Oh, that's a great movie.
yeah, but everyone was bugging out because it was like the Australian heartthrob is going to be the Joker. And then,
Oh yeah.
so it is what it is. It comes in and, you hear the casting, wait and see. But I didn't know Scarjo was in there. So I'm excited about that. I like her.
Hmm.
Um, the other big inspiration for your book, which I thought was really cool because the way you phrased it was exactly what I was looking for. You already mentioned
Hmm.
Children of Huron, but it was the Silmarillion. And I remember reading that you wanted it to be like an on the ground version of what's in
Hmm.
there. And as someone who loves Lord of the Rings, loves The Hobbit, I'm like, big fan of all of those things. I read that and it felt very history booky. So it was very cool to see that that was one of your big inspirations, but also let's make this more accessible. I want to say because this was a lot more fun to read than the same way that a Game of Thrones is more fun to read than World of Ice and Fire, for that instance, where
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that type of storytelling. Um,
yeah.
but obviously he was a major influence on you. So my big question is, how do you take something that is so obvious, not obvious, but he's such an overarching author for all
Mhm.
fantasy. How do you take that as an inspiration and make kind of put your personal twist on it to make it something your own and fun to read and not kind of feel like a carbon copy, which this didn't.
Oh, thank you very much. That honestly means a lot because I think, especially once you're thinking of taking inspiration from somebody,
Mhm.
Tolkien's a very big one. A lot of people are very much inspired by him because he is he essentially is the grandfather of fantasy. Like
Mhm.
we would not, books, literature would not be the same without him.
Mhm.
Um, I think not even just in the fantasy genre, but just in storytelling in general. Um, so it really just came down to it. What do I like about Tolkien? What's my favorite parts that he does? What's what makes me a fan of Tolkien? Write that on the page. You know what I mean? So like as that, like it doesn't necessarily come across as derivative, but it is like what I like about Tolkien might be something different than what you like about Tolkien, especially how you write it down. So once you've written it down on a page, then you can kind of craft it, how in your own voice. And I think that's how you really find your own voice and just being an individual, find out what you're inspired by, but what inspires you is probably going to be different than what inspires somebody else.
Mhm.
So, um, that's kind of what I thought about it. So I really do appreciate that you said it was unique because I was very, a lot of people have that kind of, oh, what is it? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, I've seen a lot of authors talk about, having imposter syndrome, and that's still a thing.
Mhm.
Very much so. So I still feel like that, but I greatly appreciate you saying that it did feel very different enough. But also familiar
Mhm.
too as well. I wanted people to kind of be like, hey, these, because the main characters in the story, it mostly follows elves.
Mhm.
And so I did want them to feel very Tolkien-esque, but put my, own little spin on them. Um, for instance, like whenever the older an elf gets within this world, um, when they're younger, their hair is black, then it goes to brown, then it goes to dirty blonde, then it goes to blonde, and then it kind of goes to really that kind of platinum blonde look.
Mhm.
The older that they get. Um, Also, spoiler alert: it's a spoiler alert for this one, but it's not a spoiler alert for the rest of the series. So we'll see. But the elves don't know that they're immortal, so they just haven't died of old age. So they
Mhm.
have no idea. They don't know for sure if they're immortal or not. Um, So that was kind of the two main things that I wanted to distinguish between, because you see Tolkien kind of has it to where different hair colors. Sorry if you can hear a baby crying in the background.
I didn't know if that was you or me.
No, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry.
My niece
Very
is
vague.
spending the night right now, so she's not very happy right now. So, um, but that that was the hair color that I kind of used as the big inspiration for that, and then it was the whole thing of trying to put a spin on the immortality of elves. Like, well, what if I just write it to where these elves don't know they're immortal?
Mm.
And maybe that's kind of like a big fun little question that the reader or the characters can have also, like a philosophical question within the world that they can have too. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, which was very, like I said, unique. It was very cool
Hmm.
because it's like you said, you wanted it to feel familiar. And when I was reading it, it was one of those things where it was almost like a little palate cleansery in between a
Hmm.
big gigantic series I was reading at the
Hmm.
time. I can't remember which one. It may have been like right after Empire of the Dawn when I started reading this. So it was like I'm back to like that land of like familiarity. I stuttered hard on that. I don't know if I've ever actually said that word before, uh, but it was like jumping back into that. And then, like I said, when I read it and saw the inspirations behind it, it was like, okay, I could see, kind of the threads that were taken from, especially like you said, with elves as the main character. It's almost always going to be compared to the series that made elves and kind of more famous than they had been before. But it was definitely very unique, and you strayed off of that path more than enough to be like, this is a full-on original story, and it came across that way. It was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot when I was reading it. So kudos to that, you, and kind of devolving that way to delving, not devolving,
Yeah.
delving that way to make it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I thought one of the biggest strengths of the book as I was reading it were the characters and the arcs that they were going through. How did you balance building a world like we already mentioned, where you're trying to make it feel unique and fresh? How'd you build that world and also toe the fine line of giving characters enough of like that complex backstory that we stayed invested in them enough? It felt like you towed a very nice line where learning all the lore and all the history, sometimes when you see books and it has like the date at the beginning of a chapter, you're like, oh Jesus, like this is going to be a history book, I'm going to be lost. And you did
Yeah.
a very good job of making it very easy to comprehend from a historical slash lore standpoint and stay focused on the characters. So how did you go about doing that and, kind of doing it so well?
Uh, I honestly don't know how I did it so well. A lot of it just kind of came to, I didn't really have the world outlined, I think, as well as I should have. Because even like I was writing, I was getting kind of a few names and a few places and timelines kind of confused. It was more so, what are the arcs that these characters are going to be taking? Like what's the through plot line? What's the certain events that I want to happen throughout the story, throughout the series, and just throughout each book. But a big thing with that is that I didn't necessarily want to kind of, excuse me, I wanted to really avoid kind of just overloading the audience with just, here's a big old lore dump. Now, understand this, remember it, because it's going to be really important moving forward. But instead, I kind of just wanted to make it to where certain revelations within the history or anything like that is more so brought up organically between either conversations or thoughts between the characters. Because a big scene that was actually kind of fun to write, and just I didn't outline it, nothing. I just wrote it. I'm not trying to like brag or anything like that. I'm just trying to be like, hey, just this happens sometimes. But it was the conversation that Farin and Valos have, um, about kind of the history and the origin of the elves.
Mm.
And it was just through that little thing, I'm like, hey, that could be a fun little story to write one day. So it was really just through that and how it kind of like organically came up. Um, and also just adding the like the year date too, I think was really helpful, because obviously
Definitely.
there's the prologue, and I wanted to make sure that people knew exactly like how many years have passed, since then.
Mhm.
um but yeah, no, it was tough. It was really tough, but I really wanted to just make sure that the characters would just bring it up organically and
Mhm.
not necessarily just water hose the
Thank
entire
you.
audience, to just be like, hey, here's an entire chapter of the backstory of the entire world of all these characters. Now you need to make sure to remember everything,
Mhm.
because it's going to be really important. So
As
I
the
know,
reader, thank you
yeah,
for not
yeah.
doing that. There's nothing
You're
worse when I'm
welcome.
there, like reading something and I have to bust out like a pen, and I'm like, this happened because, and it's like, holy shit, like the lore
Yeah.
dumps are real, so it comes across
Yeah.
much more, like you said, organically when it's
Mhm.
characters talking to each other and we're learning along with them. It makes it a lot more intriguing and fun to read, as opposed to
Oh, yeah.
I was a history major and I don't like getting history thrown at me like that. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine people there for the fun and then getting
Yeah.
lectured. So that was
Yeah.
very well done. And I did want to ask, actually, you already mentioned it, but are you a outliner, or are you I'm just typing and whatever comes out happens?
A bit of both, honestly. I had, I had, I really had to figure out how I wanted to outline, um, and that was very tough, because originally I had it to where it was like bullet points and everything like
Mhm.
that, but they ended up just being way too long, because then I would write sentences that I wanted to be included into the book,
Mhm.
or just I'd end up writing a whole bullet point just being like 3 paragraphs long. And so I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how in the world I need to write it. Um, so essentially, I just wrote it to where it would be like a very, very dumbed down rough draft of the chapter, to where it'd be like, so and so goes here, so and so does this happens. And just in case like a good line or something would come up, I could just immediately write it down. Um, but no, quite a bit of the book, I was very surprised. That whole interlude, I hadn't originally I had a different interlude outlined, and I didn't like it. So I just wrote a different one. Without an outline, I just wrote it. Was like, oh, this will be fun. So it's a bit of both, I guess. Oh, what do they call those people? Like seat
A
pantsers?
panther?
I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, pantsers. So no, I didn't. I kind of had a bit of both, just a bit of an outline, but also just a bit of a pantser in me as well. I'm rewriting. I'm writing the second draft of book 2, which is very much outlined. And then I dabbled a little bit into book 3 without an outline,
Mhm.
so I just know how book 2 ends. That's it. So, so we'll see what happens. So,
That's actually pretty funny that you know how book two ends and it's still not fully written yet as you're starting book three. You guys kind of fucking blow my minds sometimes. Like, I can't keep three text chains going. And like, I hear
oh
you doing
wow,
something like this and other people. I know, like, I was getting introduced to like Rob Hayes's work, and he's like writing
hmm
three different trilogies in the same world at the same time. And it's like, wow, how?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you guys
I
do this, like authors. It's mind blowing. Where it's like,
oh
book one just came out, you're finishing book two and writing book three. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's it. I mean, just sometimes you just get ideas that you just really like, and just, just I just have to write them down, or else I know I'm gonna forget it. So that's my issue, is that I know I forget stuff a lot. So, especially if I don't write it down, the notes app in your phone is very, in your phone, in your phone. It's terrible. I bet it's probably a sign I need to drink my water.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Quick hydration break.
mhm. But no, the notes app in your phone is very useful. Um, I would definitely utilize it, especially as an author, especially if you just don't have anything. Um, I did have one idea for something that I am going to kind of keep a little hidden.
Mhm.
Um, but I was in the truck just going somewhere. I don't know exactly where I was going, but I had an idea for something, and I was looking around, and luckily I had a pen from work in there, and I had a couple napkins, so I just wrote down something just really fast while I'm sitting there at the stoplight. I was like, okay, that's good. Um, but yeah, sometimes you just I, I don't know. I'd hate to say something so cliche or weird. It'd be like, my creativity is just overflowing. I can't help myself. But that sounds really pretentious. So I'll just keep it at, hey, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to just write stuff just that even that isn't, stuff that I own. Like I've even written a few treatments for like a Batman or a Justice League comic or a Spider-Man comic or something like that. So just for fun.
Mhm.
Um, that's what I actually did to practice, because this is technically the first original book I've written.
Mm.
But as practice, kind of listening to Brandon Sanderson's lectures, the best way you get back at writing, the best way to get good at writing is to essentially just practice. So to keep on writing, to write books, he wrote, what do you say, something like 12 books or something before he finally wrote Elantris and got
Mhm.
published, something like that. So I wrote 2 Halo books and a Star Wars book as kind of practice. so,
That's
um,
awesome.
so we'll see. I doubt those. I'll have to get an agent probably in order to to see if
Before it gets
anybody's
big
interested in
real
those.
quick, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but no, that was kind of, you just like to write. I think writers just like to write, and once you start, I think it's kind of hard to stop. So I
Mhm.
mean, even if you want to keep writing, Pete, like even just write like a little short stories or something like that, I think it's very cathartic.
Mhm.
Um, my opinion. I think even if you're just like pouring out your heart onto even if it's very personal, um, there's that very beautiful scene that I don't know what movie it is, but it was on Instagram. That's how I saw it, was on Instagram, where it was like, it's a beautiful thing whenever you're reading a book and it feels like somebody has reached their hand out and taken yours,
Mm.
um, and just given you that some sort of comfort. So I think even if you can do that as a writer for somebody else, I think that's kind of like the ultimate goal that most people want. So
Yeah.
if you're not interested in writing, I'd encourage you to do it. If you are writing, just keep it up, man. So
Mm.
just keep having fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's great advice, and it's very cool to hear you say that also, because one of my other favorite things to ask is, it kind of relates to that, where it's you connecting with a reader on that personal level. But when you're
Mhm.
writing, and like you say, it comes right, right from the heart, and you're getting all those emotions out, and it, whether it's a line or a couple of sentences, paragraphs, anything like that. Do you know, kind of, when you're writing it, like, I just hit that out of the park, like this is going to connect with someone, or it
Oh,
can, or does that have to come about, or do you realize when, like, an ARC reader says something to you, or whoever reads your books and is like, wow, like when this happened, or this line that really connected with me? Because I got to imagine, as a writer, that has to be that type of feeling you're describing, where someone mentions it to you or says, I really connected with this. That's probably got to
mhm.
be otherworldly.
Yeah, I haven't really had that many people say that, which is I'm completely fine with. I get a lot of compliments on my action scenes, which I'm also very fine with. So, um, but I think it was when I was writing that interlude,
Mm.
when I just wrote something just that I was just feeling, I guess, at the time. Something, kind of one of the themes that I wanted to do. I took a lot of inspiration from uh, kind of my experience in the military, as far as just being that found family aspect of it. Because you don't go into the military with your family members most of the time, and even if you do, there's a very high likelihood of you getting separated,
Mm.
put in different places. So you just have to make do with the buddies that you got around you. So that was kind of a big inspiration for that interlude as I was writing it. And that part has really meant a lot to me as far as just getting to write that, because that was I think probably like a very emotional moment within the book, but
Mhm.
also it was just something that just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh wow, this is getting really heavy. So I wonder where this goes. So it was. I think that was the moment that I think was really nice. So I hope that ends up connecting with people in some ways. Also, the character of 40. Not so much, not a self insert, I promise. But some of the things that he kind of feels or goes through is I did put a little bit of myself in that. Um, so it was just something that I can relate to. I hope that one day, somebody just maybe 10, 20, 50 years down the line just happens to pick it up, and hopefully bookstores are still around, hopefully in a half price books somewhere or something like that in the future. And just, maybe one of these characters really connects with them, something like that. So, uh, yeah, so we'll see. Nobody's really told me that yet. So again, here's hoping.
Yeah, it's still very cool. First off, thanks for your service. I didn't know that you were in the military.
Oh,
Um,
I wasn't trying to like bring it up, be like, hey, thank me for my
of
service.
course, I didn't think that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
nonetheless,
Mhm.
and it's a very cool way to hear you describe that, and especially going back to talking about reading Sanderson's book about how to get better at writing. Have you read Stephen King's on writing? I know
I
he has
haven't.
as well.
I
He has.
haven't. I've seen what he's said about writing. He doesn't outline, he just writes.
Yeah, well, he's a
Um,
psychopath and does cocaine,
yeah.
so
No,
that doesn't really count.
dude, that guy is absolutely insane.
Nuts.
I've
God tier,
I've
but it made
it's
me wanna ask
ridiculous.
because especially in regards to, what I'm going to mention, but I know I wanted to ask also, I asked this the other day, and I feel like a lot of people missed it in the Instagram post I made because they were watching with no volume. I asked if you like to read with music on, but for you, do you like to write with music on, or are you a silence type guy? And I bring Stephen King into this because I know that he said when he writes, he puts on, I think, Anthrax and like heavy metal bands. And he used to at least, and was like, that was his loud music, AC/DC, and it like kept everyone
Wow.
awake while he was writing. Are you a music guy when you write or just on the side?
Uh, well, you saying that Maximum Overdrive really makes a lot of sense now. Um, for those who don't know, that was the only isn't that the only movie he ever directed?
Yeah,
Stephen King?
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. That makes so much more sense now. um, uh, no, I do have to listen to music. I have like my own little playlist. Most of the time, I'll listen to like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack.
Mhm.
Um, it's either like I flip between the Lord of the Rings soundtrack or the Elden Ring like ambience music or something. Like I'll put on like the Lane Dell
Mhm.
um, ambience music or something like that. So yeah, no, I definitely kind of have to have music on, or else I just get really. I have really bad ADHD. I just get really. I'm like a dog basically. Any tiny little noise just gets me really distracted. Um, and I do also like to read while I write. So I will usually take, um, yes, Bromantasy, the Elden Ring music is quite incredible. So um, I do like to read while I write as well. So usually I'll be kind of doing both things in tandem. Also, just to, it does help to inspire things. Um, you were mentioning kind of how I wasn't trying to be able to do like big lore dumps.
Mhm.
Um, I was, while I was writing this book, technically while I was doing the second draft of this book, I was reading the First Law trilogy for the first time by
Nice.
Joe Abercrombie. Um, and that to just have just a tiny fraction of his talent would be amazing. But that man, my geez Louise,
Mhm.
just I mean, he's incredible. He's gone above and beyond. I think the rest of us, there won't be another author like him. Never. You probably can't really see it, but I could, yeah, see all my collection of his books over
Oh
there.
yeah.
So I
He
have
was
every one of them. I just got Sharp Ends, the collection of short stories within
nice.
the first trilogy. Um, but I'm just missing the Devils. That's the only one I haven't gotten to yet. But I've heard really fun things about it. Um, but yeah, that was kind of that's what I also like to do. I just like to get back to your question.
It's
I do
very
like to
funny
read.
though.
I like to read and write kind of at the same time.
That's
Um,
cool. That takes a lot of
yeah.
talent as well to stay focused. And it was my Abercrombie collection is gone. I gave it to, I think, brothers who gave it to their friends. We'll track it down
Mhm.
at some point. But it's funny you mentioned him because while I was making dinner today, it was one of those moments where I'm just like, oh god. Like I was listening to Before They Are Hanged on audiobook, which is
Mm,
crazy narration, but I was like
mhm.
making chicken, doing things in the house, and my wife walked over as I was like finishing up. So she walks by, and it was as Glocka is talking about cutting someone's nipple off. And literally all she hears is just like, what do you need the nipple for? I don't need mine. And starts doing it. And she just looked at me, and I was like, I swear to God, that, like, I don't know what just of all the lines,
Yeah.
it's like him getting his, like, cutting someone's nipple off. I was like,
Mhm.
this is bad. Like, that was like 50 Shades of Grey level. She's like, I thought you like read
Oh.
fantasy. I was like, dude, I have no idea what's happening right now. Like, shut it off so quick. I was like, I assure you he's really good. But it was like, it's
Oh
just
my.
funny that you brought up Abercrombie. That happened 2 hours ago. And I was like,
Oh, that's
blew it.
it is sometimes kind of a I think definitely you bring it up Before They Are Hanged. That probably has, yeah, there's the really awkward love scene in it, which I was also that's how I have to read.
Mhm,
Unfortunately, I can't really again, the ADHD part of me, I guess. I read along with the audiobook.
mhm.
So like, but also when it comes to love scenes, I'm just like, skip. I'm like, this is a little awkward. I don't really like listening to this. It's okay. But no, oh my gosh, those audiobooks are absolutely, what's the Stephen Pacey?
Yes.
Is his name? Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, and his voice for everybody's incredible. But yeah, Glocta is definitely the standout character. I had never audibly laughed
Mhm.
with a book before until I read. I think it was the Blade itself. It was towards the end where he was doing an autopsy with one of the guys, and the guy and oh, I forgot. It was in the library or something like that. And one of the guys was saying, like, this is a man. And Glockta was like, of course it's a man. This is a foot. And I just, I couldn't contain it. I had to just laugh out loud. It was very, very funny, especially with the just sarcastic nature that Stephen Pacey performed it. It
Mhm,
was just a great mixture of, I think, what you'd probably want of great performance, phenomenal writing,
mhm.
just yeah, I haven't read any of the other books by Abercrombie yet. I have all of them except for the Devils. I just need to get around to it. I heard that second trilogy, Age of Madness, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
I heard that's really fun and it's very unique as far as like pushing the timeline forward into from medieval fantasy into now, okay, now we're kind of in this industrial revolution age within
Yeah.
the same world.
Yeah.
um, and I think that's a very interesting and unique take, and not a lot of authors do that. Not a lot of authors use the Industrial Revolution as like a setting for fantasy in general, but also
Mhm.
just for doing that too. Uh, I'm not really that good at writing novellas. I tried to because I tried to like copy not copy, but just take inspiration from Ryan Cahill, who
Mhm.
did uh, the Bound and the Broken series. Because he originally wrote The Fall as that first prologue chapter, but he just ended up writing it too long, so he just turned it into a novella. I tried to do the same thing with my prologue, except I just initially tried to make it too long. I'm like, this isn't working out. I just need,
It's one of
need to,
those where like you overshoot the target, and it's like, this is
yeah,
a book.
yeah. I'm like, just make it a book. It's fine. Um, but I will be there. There's some fun ideas that I do have on the horizon. Um, I do need to get this first series finished. And then who knows, maybe one year there might be, you know, multiple releases of things. We'll see. So yeah, it'd
Wink,
be
wink, nudge, nudge. We'll
yeah,
see
we'll
down the
see.
line.
So we'll see. I'd like to keep that part a little under wraps because I'm still a debut author. Not many
Mhm.
people know who I am, so it's completely fine. But there are some things I would like to. We can talk about it after the live stream. I'd be happy. But
That's
no,
when I
there
have
are
to
some
start
things.
charging people to join us in the back.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's for the members only thing
Yeah,
or something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
This is a Patreon or something.
Yeah, there you go. The Patreon exclusive.
But yeah, that's very cool. I'm looking forward to hearing that stuff down the line as well. As far as other things, oh wait, I wanted to even ask because we started talking music and then pivoted and everything.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
Big Ramones fan. I'm pivoting back
Yeah,
into that
big
because this is
Ramones. Where is it? Where is it? Where is Leave Home? Oh my gosh. I have more than that. Yeah, there we go. Vinyl right here.
yeah, this is something we
So
talked about way before, I think, and it was like one of those
yeah.
I
You made
made
a
sure to.
comment on one of my Instagram posts, like, dude, the Maroons, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, all right. So I remembered that. I'm like, oh, I'll wear my Ramones shirt to
It was
this.
funny
So
because I
yeah.
was like, I'm gonna make sure to bring them up, and then I saw you on camera, and I was like, ah, motherfucker, he beat me to it. Not only did he not bring them up, he has the shirt on, but that
Yeah.
is, I feel it's very weird because I feel like they're underrated in some strange way. No one really talks about this, like the Ramon when I talk about them and everything,
Yeah.
especially like some of the later albums. Like I think Leave Home is that the one with it has Swallow My
They're
Pride on it.
It's a good question. No, I do not think so. Oh yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Swallow My
Yeah, it's a
Pride,
really good one. I
amazing
think
song.
it's their second or third album.
Mhm.
Actually, no, it's their third album. Rocket to Rush is their second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the same. It was from the same photo shoot that they took for their first album.
Mhm.
So they just used a different picture from that photo shoot and put it on their second one. Um, but no, Leave Home might be my favorite Ramones album.
Mhm.
I think it's a really fun one. I
Yeah,
know it's far as like production value, it's not the best, but still, it's a lot of fun. So
as long as
yeah,
it's not one
man.
with Phil
Yeah.
Spector.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw. Did you see? There's like it's not on any streaming service. I had to watch it on YouTube in parts, but it was like a little Ramones documentary, and it was talking about them making Rock and Roll High School with Phil Spector and how he basically held them at gunpoint one time,
I saw
and
that.
and Johnny had to do like up some like 200 takes of that
Yeah.
opening just E chord,
Mhm.
and it just wasn't to Phil's liking supposedly, and I'm like, that is absolutely insane. Like it's not.
Psychotic.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts,
Mhm.
and it's not even that great of an album.
I
So
know. It's very funny. It's like I remember listening, because I didn't know all the behind the scenes stuff. I listened to it was like a 5-part podcast. It was with Marcus from Last Podcast on the Left and
Mhm.
his wife. They do like a music one, and they did a
Mm.
5-part series on the Ramones and went into that. And it was like they were talking about the Phil Spector record, and they were talking about Baby I Love You, and none of the Ramones played on it except for Joey singing by the time they were
Yeah.
done and recorded it. And it's like,
Mhm.
how do you have how do you even release a track like that? And it's like 3 of the 4 guys didn't play on it. And it's like
Yeah.
very
Well,
weird.
they weren't really seen much as musicians. And and this, they didn't start out as musicians. None of
Mhm,
them knew how to do anything. The only one who like was sort of talented was Joey because
mhm,
he had a very unique singing voice. He had a very unique stage presence. Like Tommy's will still, unfortunately, all the original members have passed away since. But even he admitted, he's like, I'm not a drummer.
Mhm.
Like, I'm still not a drummer.
Which is
And you can
also
even hear
crazy.
it on those first 3 albums, man. Like he's really not, he's hardly ever using the bass pedal. He's mostly using the bass drum.
Mhm.
Just because he can't do it. But it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're
think he was their producer, and then they were just like,
yes, he
"Good
was their
drum for us."
producer. And then, oh, who did they get?
Yeah,
Marky
Marky,
Ramone? Yeah, Marky Ramone
who
became
is
it got
way
after
better because
him.
he's a
And then
drummer.
they had, yeah, way better. Just as far as like just sheer talent as far as
Mhm.
he goes. Because I remember I think he left for a bit, and then I remember one of the guys that they brought in on the interview, he was only with them for just a little bit. But he was the only one that was dressed not in punk attire. He
Mhm.
had like a suit on, like just like a typical businessman or something, but he was a drummer for the Ramones at one point. I thought that was so funny. And they were even saying like, yeah, he was our fastest drummer. It was pretty insane. It was
That's amazing. It's
mhm,
very it's very funny, especially like it works out very well that you're another big music fan. But
mhm.
there are, I find more and more the more people I talk to, and especially those of us who are big music fans, that there is a huge connection between this type of punk, this there we go. So Metallica,
There you go. You
fucking
see
hell
it.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, again, diehard Metallica fan. So it
Oh, for
actually worked
sure.
out
Oh,
well,
for
even to
sure,
my
man.
point. Like it's that metal, that punk, all of these scenes, and even
Incredible album, I
yeah,
think. My
it's
opinion. I know it's their most recent one, but I'm I love it. It's
yeah,
probably one of my favorites now. I love 72 Seasons. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, because it proves my point even more. Because one great
Mhm,
album, I love Shadows Follows.
mhm,
A lot of songs on there are awesome, uh,
mhm.
but there is a very big connect. Not connection, but parallel, I guess I would say, between the punk scene, the metal scene, and honestly, with myself, with the jam band scene, where
Mhm.
it almost flows perfectly to the indie author and writing community scene, where it's
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
people just out there grinding, and it gets, word of mouth, which, instead of passing around a cassette tape, you're giving out art copies. Like, it really is
Yeah.
kind of crazy where it's like one person tells one person, then they tell, then that's like how it really is. But do you think that there's a kind of, why do you think that there could be such a big similarity between those two types of fan bases? I feel like there is a lot more than I previously ever would have expected.
I would 100% agree with you. Because I think what people start to for one, I think once they just see that people are people, not necessarily the products that are
Mhm,
held up. Um, and you see this in music all the time. You see this with the pop stars that are, they're industry plant or something like that. Like that's not real music or something like that. You saw that a lot in the 80s with the hair metal bands and then the underground thrash scene, um, which, a lot of people in the underground thrash scene were very critical of Metallica whenever they just became popular. It's like,
mhm.
well, they just kept making too good of music, man. That's
Yeah,
just not their
bummer.
fault. Yeah, exactly. That stinks. More people like the same band as you.
Yeah.
But I think that's also just people wanting to support genuine people, but
Mhm.
also, and a very punk rock thing to do is just to like things that aren't cool. So I think there's also that kind of punk rock mentality within the indie art scene as well. People just like things that aren't as popular, and it's not that there are indie authors out there that aren't getting popular. I mean, mentioned Ryan Cahill earlier. He's now about to be traditionally published with the Broken Binding Press,
Mhm.
which is incredible.
Yeah, it's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and you think of other authors like Michael R. Miller, who's a really big inspiration for me. I honestly wouldn't have self-published if it hadn't been for him.
Mm.
Um, and you think of all these. There's several other uh, indie authors. I'm just not mentioning. I'm just drawing a blank right now. But they are getting popular. But also at the same time, there's just some that aren't as popular. But people love coming back to what they do
Mhm.
because it's Oh, well, yeah, I get it. 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 It took me a while to really, I just have to answer this question. I'm sorry. It took me a while to get into load. I will admit it took me a while to get into that. Within like the last 2 to 3 years, I have really begun to appreciate the load album. Reload, not so much. I don't really think that album's all that great, but King Nothing is one of my favorite Metallica songs. So I get it. People didn't like that they cut their hair and were on the back of the old album, smoking cigars and drinking martinis and stuff like that.
Quite the
Um,
departure.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's a great hard rock album, man. It really is. I mean, there's some of those riffs that are just, I mean, Bleeding Me is heavy, dude. That is a great song. Um, and Wasted My Hate. That's another. Oh gosh, I could go on and on about Metallica. This whole podcast episode could
I was
be like
about to
three
say we
hours
have to
long
start
about
doing
Metallica.
spin-offs.
I got them on my skin, so it's obvious that I'm a big fan of them. So, but no, yeah, to kind of get back to your point, I think just people like, it's that punk rock mentality. They like to kind of stick it to the man, and I think that's kind of their their way of sticking it to the man. Sticking it to the man is supporting these indie authors and not supporting what's popular right now, because Romantasy is huge right now. I was just at Barnes and Noble the other day. That's where I got Sharp Ends at, and they had about 5 or 6 stands in there that were just Romantasy,
Mhm.
just Romantasy, and it's huge right now. Everybody wants to have a Romantasy book. A lot of the in the fantasy section, a lot of like the new and notable releases, it's mostly Romantasy books right now. So, um, excuse me. Um, it's not my cup of tea. I get there are people out there that really like it. I know that Fourth Wing and what is it? Throne of Glass, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
I know those are really big and popular right now, and I know a lot of people love them, and that's good for you. That's not my cup of tea. Everybody likes, has different flavors. Um, that's kind of what I think the indie scene is doing right now, is really bringing back a lot of that classic fantasy feel and not trying to just reinvent the genre, just give you more of what you love. You know what I mean? Because they are fans essentially doing what the corporations want to. You know what I mean? Which sounds very like cyberpunky. It sounds like I'm in like a cyberpunk video game right now or something like that. But or Johnny Silverhand thing to say. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, I think there's that correlation between it. People like to support genuine people, and they also just are really hungry for classic fantasy. And there's not a whole lot of that that's being traditionally published, unless you're Brandon Sanderson, Joe Abercrombie, or John Gwynn. You're not really getting a lot of that classic fantasy right now. So
Yeah, which definitely makes a lot of sense why people would look for other avenues to find it and support it. It's
mhm,
it's just always very funny because I didn't know that this whole kind of realm existed until like 3 years ago or so when I first dove in, and I
mhm.
feel like some of the best books I've read in my life are going to be the ones that fly under the radar or are one-offs by people. And it's like, yeah, like I have a real job and I'll get to it when I can. And like those ones where
Yeah.
you just see recommended and it has like 7 Goodreads reviews and it's like this should
Mhm.
have thousands, like that type of
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just very funny to like kind of see how under the radar certain things are. And then like you said with Cahill, how people grind and put in the time to get good at their craft and
Mhm.
hard work pays off. So I'm glad that we're seeing that with a lot of people who previously started as the self-published route. So it's been very
Mhm.
interesting to like watch all that grow along the way.
Oh, it's huge right now. There a lot of people started it, in the during COVID, when everyone was, locked in their homes and they had nothing better to do, and they
Mhm.
had these dreams and aspirations to, want to become a writer, but nobody was really picking them up. So they had these avenues, you know. I know a lot of people like to dog on Amazon, but it was really good for the indie published scene. Still kind of is for getting your name out there. I know a lot of people like to talk about royalties and everything, and I know that that would be nice if that was better. But at the same time, I do think there are really great avenues out there for people who don't have an agent or people who aren't traditionally published to go out there and do it. And it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. You got to be your agent. You got to be your marketing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I was about to ask that because that always sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but that was funny because that was literally what I was about to ask next.
Yeah. If you've probably been following me on Instagram, I've hardly posted anything recently just because I'm like, man, I don't like marketing. It's not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun. I'm trying to find a lot more fun in it. I'm thinking about maybe starting a YouTube channel or something like that. Because again, from inspiration from an indie author, Chance Dillon, that you had on the podcast, which that was a really fun one. So yeah. So we'll see. And another big, I just want to give him a shout out because he also helped me find my cover designer who did the cover design, like the lettering and layout and everything like that. Philip C. Quintrell, who did you've probably seen his books all over the place. He did the Echo Saga, Rise of the Ranger, and he's doing now A Time of Dragons, which is...
Sorry, I was going to say, have you read not any of those because obviously you have, but have you read all of his books or just one or two of the series? Or
I have not. I've read the first 3 though, because he says that the Echo Saga is 9 books, but he said that it's basically divided into 3 arcs. So I've read the first 3, which is Rise of the Ranger, Empire Dust, Relic of the Gods. I could be wrong.
He is on one of my 2026 must reads. I have not read any of his stuff yet, but I see him everywhere. He is like unanimously praised from other people that we talk to. And, that is definitely one of my have to reads for the year.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to show off a broken binding edition of A Time of Dragons. It's Once They Were Heroes. It's a beautiful book, but I've heard nothing but praise. I've heard people are like, hey, this is actually like probably his best work. And even he said like, hey, if you've read the Echo Saga, if you've read the Ranger Archives and stuff like that, there's stuff in here for you. But if you've never read any of my books or haven't read any of those from the same series, you can hop into this and it's perfectly fine. And they're not short books. They're pretty massive. So they are quite the undertaking.
That looked heavy duty. I was like, wow,
oh
it's the
yeah.
cover. And then you turned it to the side and I was like, oh shit.
No, you could knock somebody out with that thing.
Yeah, that's a door stopper.
Yeah, for sure. But no, he got me in touch with Bodhi Dog Design, who did the cover design for my books as well. So yeah, just a big shout out to him. R.S. Ford.
I'm sharing it again because the covers.
Oh yeah. No, I'm completely fine with it. I love showing off that. Who was it? Brandon Sanderson or Michael R. Miller? I was listening to. I forgot. It was one of them said like the cover does 70% of the job.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just had to make sure that I had to get a good cover first before. But I did, still have to make sure the inside of it's good too. Make sure that there's good writing and, make sure people enjoy reading and everything like that. So people enjoy the characters, which I mean, all the praise that you've given it so far, I really does mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate that. So thank you very much for all the kind words that you've been saying about it. So especially with, being distinctive enough from Tolkien, you always have that fear of being very derivative.
Yeah, it's almost I can't even say annoying because he's him, but it's like, oh, there are elves in it, like his, like it just it's like just synonymous with fantasy at this point, where like when people talk fantasy, that's even the people who don't read it, it's like I know fantasy. I've heard of Lord of the Rings, so like it's one of those things where it's just like one of those things that you guys kind of have to make do with, where it's like he is the godfather, the grandfather, and the everything who started
Mhm.
the vibes of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I got to break off a little bit somehow. So it's always nice to see the influences trickle down, but also, like I said, make uh, your own headway into a story where it's like very much your own. So yeah, that's definitely how I
Mhm.
felt about yours, which I'm glad you appreciate.
Mhm. No, I really
Um,
appreciate it. Oh, speaking of Lord of the Rings, did you see um did you see them this weekend? They got re-released
I
in
did
theater.
not. I used to go
Mm.
uh, when they would come out randomly, like me and one of my friends. Every once in
Mhm.
a while, they would be like, "For this Tuesday only, we're showing Return of the King at 10:50 at night," and we'd be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sure," and like go see that. So I didn't
Mhm.
this weekend, and I was just talking about it with my wife again because the last year, this is like one of those obnoxious moments, especially because you already mentioned you like writing to the score. And what
Mhm.
Howard Shore is god tier with,
Oh,
especially this
just
in particular. 2
yeah.
years ago, I bought tickets to go see I don't remember what orchestra, but it was at Radio City Music Hall, and it was like an
Mm.
80-piece orchestra performing to the movie, like while the
Yeah.
orchestra's there playing,
Wow.
and I got the fucking date wrong, and like
Oh
we were
no.
sitting at home like an hour away from New York City, and then, like on my phone just lit up, and it was like, "Hope you enjoy your event." And I like looked at it and was like,
Oh man.
"Oh," and like I showed it to my wife. Like it was one of those moments where she couldn't even make fun of me because it was like I'm sure I had
Oh.
like a kicked puppy dog look on my face where I was just like, this isn't as bad as I am gonna make it out to be. Like I tried to brush past it because like there's no point getting
Mhm.
upset at that point because you're just fucked. Like there's no way around it.
Oh, you're
But
just defeated at that point. You're just like,
defeated.
there's no point in being upset. I'm just like, dang it. Really
Hmm.
wanted to go to that.
She turned and was just like, Do you want to watch it?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"It's too soon." No. She's like, "Well,
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
turn it on now, it'll be like we're in in Radio City." I was like, "Oh yeah, like with the orchestra in our basement. That's right. It's just like
Mhm.
it." But
Yeah,
uh,
it's the exact same.
did you end up going to see any this weekend?
Oh, yeah, saw all 3 of them.
Nice.
So, I had never gotten to see Fellowship or, The Two Towers, um, in theaters. I did get to see Return of the King. I just wasn't old enough to see. I was 5 or so whenever Fellowship came out, but that was also the first time I watched it too. Um, so it of course, made a very big impression on me.
Mhm.
Um, and I've just been in love with those films and the books ever since. And so yeah, it was pretty. I went with my girlfriend this weekend, and we saw all 3 of them. And each night it was a pretty full theater. I was very surprised. Um,
That's
we saw
probably good to hear.
Yeah, we saw. That's why I'm really interested to see what the box office results are this weekend, because I'm like, I guarantee you these movies might have performed better than any movie released in January. Because I was genuinely shocked
Mm,
at each day that we went, the theater was full. And I was very surprised and just very happy and just thinking like, man, that's just how important and how good these movies are, that they just resonated with these people so well. And it
mhm,
was mostly filled with people our age,
mhm,
around their 30s, who probably just didn't get to see
mhm.
these movies in theaters because they were too young.
Yeah.
Um, so it was pretty amazing to see that. And you know cry, cry, get the chills and everything like that. So um, my I think my entire body was just tingling during the March of the Ents
Yeah.
scene. Like as soon as Treebeard says, "My business is with Isengard tonight," I was done. I was like, this is why I came to see it in the movie theater. This is absolutely incredible. So yeah, it
That's one
was
of those it doesn't compare to watching any
oh
movies where
no,
it's like those and a couple other movies where it's like you need to see it on that theater.
oh yeah, yeah. I was very lucky that I got to see both Dune Dune Part 1 and Part 2 in IMAX.
Mhm.
Because I really would have regretted not seeing those two in the movie theater.
Mhm.
Because I unfortunately, like Top Gun Maverick, I didn't see in IMAX, and I kind of wish I did.
Same
Um,
actually.
but yeah, no, Dune. Honestly, I think Dune has been the closest to an experience of similar to that of the Lord of the Rings, where it's, you need to experience this in the movie theater
Yeah.
because there's nothing like it.
Mhm.
It doesn't compare to anything. It really enhanced quite a few of the moments in it. I mean, just seeing that prologue in the movie theater
Mhm.
from Fellowship was just, you're just
Yeah.
gawking at the screen. It's just absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
And just, recognizing just like how good those movies are, and just how there will never be anything like them. And I'm going to be there for the 50th anniversary. So, and it was really cool too, because Peter Jackson, he had like a little intro video to
Oh, that's cool.
each one of the movies, so it was a different one each time.
Mm.
Um, so it was really cool, and it was Return of the King. It was, he kind of ended on a somber note because he really wanted to pay tribute to a lot of the actors and people that they had lost. Bernard Hill
Mhm.
passed away. Christopher Lee and Ian Holm had both
Mhm.
been, both passed, and then the director of photography, Andrew Lesney. And Peter kind of explained that's why he hadn't really made a movie since Andrew Lesney passed away, because he and him had a really great relationship and good friendship through the Lord of the Rings. That was the first time they had ever worked together, and they worked together ever since
Mhm.
until Andrew passed away. So, um, sorry to end on a dour
No,
note.
because I
But
didn't
yeah,
know
no,
that.
yeah. But certainly since, I don't know if it's just since Bernard Hill has passed away, but I had never teared up um, in Two Towers before.
Mhm.
And it was during the scene when Gandalf cures Theoden of Sauron controlling him, and it was just seeing sickly Theoden transform into basically, regular healthy King I started to tear up. I was like,
Mhm.
this is, he's right there, So that was quite a, I don't know if it was necessarily just, the fact that, Bernard Hill had recently passed away or anything like that, but it's a very beautiful scene. And
Mhm.
just, I was like, man, that's what this movie, man, these movies keep doing that. Every time I have like a different reaction every time I watch them, it seems like that. So they got me to do something I'd never done before. So I'd never teared up during Two Towers, and first time for everything.
Yeah, apparently. And they're
Yeah.
still hitting
Yeah.
this hard. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and no, I am not ending right now because a very good question came in the chat,
Yeah.
which is I think is a very cool question, especially for any aspiring author who is really kind of trying to pick it up and go off on their own anyway. But how long did it
Mhm.
take you to get from the start of draft one to the finished draft?
First off, I love your cover, Seven Samurai. Excellent movie.
I'm bringing them back. I'm
Uh,
bringing them back.
yeah. Kurosawa's sorry, I'm now getting distracted with a Kurosawa. Um, okay, just quick little side note. If you haven't seen a Kurosawa movie, you should, because like the filmmaking technique, you'd swear it's modern time. I mean, seriously, like just he transcends the time when he was filming, especially with Seven Samurai. It's an incredible movie. Um, how long did it take me? So the first draft of book one, it took me quite a while, and I left it there for about a month or two. Honestly, I can't really say how long it took me. It probably took uh, probably about a year or so. Um, and I just let it sit there, and I was not happy with it, and I was just going to kind of let it just essentially just sit there and rot. And it was funny because at my job that I have right now, that's where I met my editor,
Mm.
and so she really encouraged me to go back through it and just to double check, and just to, like, hey, go through, just edit it, see how you like it. And that took me about 4 months.
Mm.
Was just the second draft. I was just flying. I just flew through it. It also happened at a time when I had just reread The Hobbit and I was trying to find, just get that inspiration to just keep on going. And just kind of asking myself the question of why am I writing? What do I want to do with it? And it was 3 pages into The Hobbit, and I'm like, oh, I know why. So
There
it
you go.
was, yeah, exactly. So that really helped. So that took me about 4 months. Um, Draft one of book two has taken me about 6 months, and draft two of it is honestly, well, I will say work is kind of getting in the way of it a little bit. Not like getting in the way, but just like, times have been getting a little bit busier. So it's been taking me, I'm not a full-time author, so I have a life outside of, outside of writing. So book, uh, I'm currently probably on the 4 month mark on draft two. So I would like to, excuse me, goodness. Um, I would like to make better progress on it. So hopefully that can happen here pretty soon. So he said something else. I was stubborn about the original Star Wars trilogy for a long time, but can't deny. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I would agree. Love Star Wars. Obviously, I just have I have a problem with collecting Star. I wish I could show you my Star Wars comic collection too. Um, uh, Oh, I was gonna shout out the Legacy comics. If you haven't read the Star Wars Legacy comics, those are with Cade Skywalker. Excellent, excellent comics. Um, Anyways, but yeah, no, Lord of the Rings is probably, and I am sometimes one of those, prude people where I see it as one film. Because it's hard not to at times, especially when you're having a marathon like that. You just kind of just see it as one film. That's whenever, you have those conversations. Okay, top three movies of all time. Like, I can't.
Yeah. Then
I'm
it
gonna
just becomes
include.
one
I'm just.
A, one B, and one C.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Um, I before ending, I want to give one more shout out because I think it is kind of a nod to your fantastic taste. True Detective season one.
Uh, I would pull it up, but I do have the Blu-ray of it. So,
Oh, yeah, and I saw that with
oh,
the back of the
it's
book
oh,
going through
it's
there, and it's very funny because you could pick up on someone's vibe like very quickly anyway. Like even before you got the
mhm,
book sent to me, like we were chatting a little bit. I was like, "Cool, dude. Like I hope the book's good." And then the book was
mhm.
not only good, but then everything else in the back of it, I was like, "I wish this guy lived fucking down the block, not in Dallas."
Oh, thanks, man.
But yeah, going back, True Detective season one, I think may be the single best season of television ever filmed. Is
Oh,
kind
for
of where
sure,
I'm
for
at
sure.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And I do love the fact that was it season three? I think the one with Mahershala Ali, whenever he was in it. I think that might have been season three. I'm not sure. That's the only other season of True Detective that I've watched.
You're not missing
I
much.
do love that it is that kind of anthology series, though, because um, just season one stands alone and just stands so far apart from I think the other seasons of it. It's absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Um, it is very vulgar. It's very violent. It's very raw, which is what just I really appreciate. And if you really want to look at something in a really great character study, um, you just look at Rustin Cole and Martin from True Detective season one, and like, hey, there you go.
Mhm.
Great writing, incredible acting. That season wouldn't have worked without Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, with their chemistry, and just it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, no, that's definitely one of my favorite shows or seasons of television, I guess, of all time. And I do have to, now that you bring that up, I do have to come to the defense of. I'm not saying The Wire isn't a great
My
show.
my best favorite show of all time.
I get it, but I really do love Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, so
Mhm.
I have to come to their defense for a little bit.
See, that's the thing is that they're also so good that someone's defense is still going against someone's, well, they're in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, when
That's
you
the
when you do think about like the greatest shows of all time, you think of The Sopranos, you think of The Wire, think of Breaking Bad. Some people even put, Battlestar Galactica in there sometimes, which I know I might have my nerd card revoked. I still haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, so
me either.
I
So we're
can.
about to get
Oh,
canceled. At least it's
oh, there we go.
coming on an
I
hour and a
really
half.
want to see it. I love the premise of it. I think
Mhm,
that's absolutely amazing. I just haven't gotten around to watching it,
mhm.
so I eventually I will. So, yeah, my girlfriend's been like, "You haven't seen Battlestar Galactica?" Like, no, I'm sorry.
Like, it's
So,
hard.
no, I.
There's a lot of shit out there, and I have to rewatch The Wire for the 15th time. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the problem is that you just kind of, there's all this new stuff that's trying to grab for your attention,
mhm.
but you end up just going back to what's familiar with you. So, I mean,
That's
that's what I do with television. I've done that with Peaky Blinders several
so
times.
good.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm
It's like
insanely excited for the movie coming out. I really hope it has a longer run in theaters than what Netflix is probably going to give it.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. I'll be there day one.
That's what
Once ticket.
it's like you said, it's like all the new stuff. It's hard, especially like as life goes on, like you have your job, you're writing, you're doing this, like the other
Mhm.
thing. Like even I have, the one job, the now a second kid coming next month, and it's like when I get done doing these types of things, not just talking, but like by the time working is done, the last thing I can do at like 10:15 at night is be like, let me watch this original hour-long show I haven't seen before. Like when it gets to be
Yeah.
that late at night, it's like, let's see, let's watch Christopher and Paulie lost in the woods, like after killing a Russian guy. It's like something that we've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
a million times where like I could wake up on
Mhm.
the couch and be like, and nothing was lost, and like then go to
Yeah,
sleep. It's
yeah,
hard, but
exactly. It's very hard. A lot of the modern age that we live in, everything's very accessible and everything's trying to grab your attention, but it is it it is I think it's just very comfortable, to go back to what's familiar to you,
mhm.
like I've watched The Office and Parks and Recreation
Parks and Rec's so goddamn good.
several times. Same thing with New Girl. I think
Mhm,
that's a really underrated show. That show cracks me up all the time.
mhm.
Schmidt is my favorite. 29. um and I know you said you're going to wrap up. I just want to answer this one
I
question.
was about to pop that up because we'll do
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more.
yeah. Tom's incredible. Tom is such a great guy. Um, I was actually I was just looking for essentially just an actor to just do the narration for me. Um, and I'd happened to be listening to, I was in negotiations with getting somebody else. Um, but then I happened to be listening to Sons of the Hydra, which is a Warhammer 40,000 audiobook. And Tom was narrating that. And when things kind of fell through with the other actor, things, schedules couldn't really line them up. There's also kind of a budget reason why, too. Um, I asked, the agent, like, "Hey, do you happen to represent Tom Alexander?" And she's like, "Oh, absolutely." So I'm like, "Can you get me in touch with him?" Because I was really impressed because that was the first time I'd ever heard his voice was on this audio drama for Sons of the Hydra, which are really great. If you haven't listened to it, I would strongly recommend it. And he's actually me and Tom have a lot of things in common, especially our interests. He just recently got to do the audio drama adaptation of Kingdom Come from DC Comics, and he got to play Magog. Um, so I just think that's really pretty incredible. It's one of my favorite stories in literature ever. So the fact that I got to work with the guy that got to play Magog in Kingdom Come. I thought was pretty sweet. But man, yeah, he did. I know you don't have Audible. I'm really sorry. So I know I'm still trying to figure out how to get it to you. Um, but yeah, no, Tom did such a great job, and I was really happy with all the voices that he did, um, especially the voice for Talik and like the female characters, because that's the one that I always kind of struggle with. Is sometimes I think some female characters, especially for men to do, can be tough, but he just did a really great job at. Everybody has their own distinct voice, and um, even just his normal narration is really incredible, very engaging. So I love what he does. So I was very happy and very fortunate to meet him. And I probably I say probably, Lord willing, I will never work with another narrator again because he's just too good. So, yeah, no, he'll be doing the series for sure, and most likely anything that I do after that. So, no, I love Tom. He's great. If you haven't listened to him, I definitely would try to pick up Sons of the Hydra. It's a really, really good one. Good introductory to him as well. But yeah, that's how me and Tom met.
Awesome. Yeah, that's funny. You got your locked in guy the same way Stephen Pacey's locked in with Joe. You got yours.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
it really helped that me and Tom, we had like a little video chat, um, just like kind of on the side, because he just, kind of wanted to meet even after he had done the voiceover work. And me and him just got along really well. Um, and a quick shout out to uh, Nathan Harder, who did the opening theme and the music for A Bond of Silver.
Mm.
He did the main theme of it as well, and me and him have been getting along. Really, everybody I've been meeting as far as this collaborative process has been going, I've just been getting greatly along with them. So Nathan's also very talented at what he does, just really incredible music. Um, I basically just gave him the assignment of make something that gets stuck in people's heads. And I think he really did a great job at that. So yeah, everyone that's been really helping me along this journey and just been part of the collaborative process. Just big thank you to you, and just thanks for being a good friend.
That is a perfect send off.
Mhm.
And like you already mentioned, I do not have Audible, but I have seen other people say that the audiobook of this is fantastic. So for anyone who's in the chat or will be watching this later, if you're a big driver, I drive all the time. I should get Audible and probably will. But be sure to check this out on Audible because apparently it's just as good to listen to it as to read it. But
I'd
yeah,
say it enhances
and
it.
look at that.
I'd say it really enhances it. Yeah, the
Perfect. So why would
audiobook
not get the
definitely.
enhanced version? Ignore what I said. Go right to Audible. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for joining the show. Like I said, this was something that I wanted to get done a while back, and especially before baby number two comes, and I put a pin in it for a tiny little bit. So I am
Absolutely.
very stoked that we were able to make January, tonight work. So
Mhm.
yeah, I am very much looking forward to everything else that you are going to be putting out. And whenever that does happen, I don't like asking timelines because I feel like that's annoying, like poking with a stick at this point. You're working on
Dance
Jurassic Book
monkey.
2 and you're writing book 3. I don't need a timeline, but consider this an open invite for whenever you want to hop back on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'll definitely be sending you like probably an art copy of book 2 once it's ready. So I say probably because I did. Oh gosh, I really did a terrible job with this launch. I'm not gonna lie. Like my art copies came out 2 days after the launch day, so they did. It was pretty poor. So I definitely learned a lot of things what to do and a lot of things what not to do with this
exactly.
next time around. But for book 2, if you want a copy or multiple copies, just let me know and I'll definitely send you those around. Once it's all ready. I guess I don't mind saying the title of it. The title of it is going to be called March of the High Warden. So,
Ooh, cool
book
cover
2.
and an exclusive. I got him to crack at the very last second.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm having a great time writing it. It's twice as long as book one. There's going to be a new POV character in it. Um, well, kind of, kind of a new POV character in it. A new main character, I guess we'll say that. Main POV character. But yeah, I'm having a really great time writing it. I think it's a lot better than book one. I'm not going to lie. Not that I'm not proud of book one, but I'm really excited about this one. So, so yeah, it's really
Hell
cool. So
yeah.
I'll stop talking because I know it's late.
It's one of those times where we had so much fun talking that I actually looked at the clock and was like 10:30. Like I saw it
Yeah.
blank for like 50 minutes and I was like, oh, we're cooking. And then 40 more
Mhm.
minutes went by.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, like I said, I won't give my whole spiel over again, but I will say go check it out on Audible. It enhances the story. And definitely check that out. Get it in before book two comes out. And yeah, thank you again for joining me, man. And I look forward to talking soon. I'm glad everyone in the chat was popping off a little bit. We got some good questions, so thank you. And I hope everyone has a good rest of your night.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, talk to everyone later. See you soon.